The following is a presentation of the iRacing Esports Network.
Fresh blood last time out at Lucas Oil Raceway. Josh Fox claimed his first career victory in a tight-fought championship, which is still all to play for. But what will happen in today's event? Will the championship lead be extended, or will the pack pounce behind? As we welcome you to the beautiful Sonoma Raceway Rallycross circuit, located just under an hour's drive from San Francisco and Oakland, California. It hosts the 8th round of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series, with all coverage today on RaceSpot TV, streaming live on the iRacing Esports Network around the 1.5 kilometer, 0.9 mile clockwise layout of Sonoma. 6 ostentatious and exuberant corners. The second time we head to the Sonoma layout this season. The lovely circuit begins with the main straight completely tarmac and a first sector which incorporates copious amounts of elevation change. The track rises and then dips back into the tarmac section to end the lap. A few slow corners to challenge the drivers, but so will lap times as they range in that 40 to 41 second range. Good afternoon, everybody. Jonathan Simon on hand in the commentary booth alongside Randolph Chenot on dual duties, producing and commentating. And Randy, we head back to Sonoma for the second time this season. We had identical pole times last time out, but this time Joni Heikkinen looks quick out there with a 40.6.
He definitely does, and Joni Heikkinen, he's had a lot of momentum coming through this season, and as we get ready and get set, we're going to go down the starting grid for your first heat race, Johnny, so hit it.
And that includes Joni Heikkinen in first, alongside Mitchell de Jong, Stelian Cheplevsky in third, and then they'll be followed by Phil Diaz, Julian Shine, Tony Repisard, and Bobby Zelensky, who didn't set a qualifying time at all, but who was insanely quick in practice. So look out for him coming through the field. We must mention, Randy, before this race begins, that Mitchell de Jong is actually racing from the Sim Racing Expo itself in Germany.
Yeah, he is, and that's one of the really interesting things, of course, with the Sim Racing Expo happening this weekend. Many drivers have been relocated, and Mr. Mitchell has gone from Mr. Temecula, California, roughly 45 minutes north of me, to in Germany, roughly a million miles east of me.
Yeah, so Mitchell on a different simulator as well, so could that throw off his game here for the championship? He leads the championship along with Joni Heikkinen heading into this round. The two championship leaders are starting in this race together. Heikkinen will have the inside line. He'll pop up on screen. There he is in the Sim Gear Volkswagen. Mitchell de Jong in the Subaru Commander Sim Sports car. We get ready for round 8. And we go green for 5 laps of action. Brilliant start from Cheplevsky, but he doesn't have track position. They're all boxed in. De Jong gets a bit of a tap from drivers behind. Phil Diaz slots himself up the inside. Phil Diaz may have second position here. De Jong's broken late, and that was great defensive driving from Mitchell de Jong and should maintain the second position.
He's not done yet, though. Phil Diaz has the preferred line going up into turn 1, but actually he's going to be able to hold on to it. Phil kind of backs out of it. First side-by-side, a little bit deeper in the field. You see Tony Repisard fighting. You see Phil Diaz, though. A little bit of a hiccup. That's going to allow Stilian to just be able to slip through as Bobby's way off on the right in that bright orange Volkswagen, able to just bring it back on as they come up now to this tricky right-hander that crests the hill when the car is sideways, and everyone's got it right this time so far at least.
Yeah, Repisard's so close to Zelensky, and we must mention Bobby Zelensky has incredible pace for today's race, as Repisard is the first driver along with Joni Heikkinen to take the Joker lap. Only one available each heat, consolation race or feature race each today, and we know the top 2 from this race will advance.
Oh, Mitchell's around. Mitchell found one of the tire bollards as he goes around, going up through the very fast right-hander at the end of the front straightaway, and he's just dropped all of the positions and has cycled in behind Julian Shine.
Heartbreak for Mitchell. We talked about him racing on a different simulator today. Could that be throwing him off? His teammate Jorn Jens will be racing in Heat 3 later today. Also the same case. Does that make consistency worse? He's got a whole heap of work for him right now, Randy, to head into the top 2. Now he heads to the Joker at the right time, but he's just lost so much time.
He has, and that's going to be his big problem as we just finished looking at a replay of what happens. Let's see where his Mitchell sorted himself out. He's currently P5, I believe, on the racetrack, so he only needs one more spot. If he can maybe get himself there, then he's got it right outside the windshield, so it's within reach for Mitchell, who had a nightmare performance last time we were out here at Sonoma, Johnny, and now, if he keeps up like this, he might be in for another one at a critical late point in the championship, as Tony Repisard is way off at where they rejoin the regular track, and that's going to lose him a couple spots. Yeah,
Repisard not even close. Went around the outside of the tire bundles and the tire wall there. Not, well, the middle inside part of it's part of the racetrack. Another tire ballot in the middle of the racetrack before the jump here. That's Repisard kicking out of the way, but for Heikkinen and Cheblevsky, it looks like these two, if they keep it together, could head to the feature. Phil Diaz has something else to say for it. Phil Diaz, who's had a topsy-turvy season in that NX racing car and the Simucube NX racing driver. I think he's, a good season for him so far, Randy, but heading straight to the feature here today would be a good start to the end of the campaign, if that makes sense.
Oh, it'd be fantastic for Phil, but it doesn't look like that's going to be a situation for him as Stillian is able to stretch out a bit of a lead here. And, of course, Phil's already used his Joker lap as we come to the white flag, so he's going to have to do it the hard way on Stillian, and Stillian having 3 or 4 car lengths heading up the hill. There's not really any good passing opportunities here. I think Phil's going to have to do it through the B main, but I think just finishing in that 3rd spot, I think Phil's going to be more than happy with that.
Yeah, and I mean, good track position into the consolation races, but we know how maniac those races are, as Bobby Zielinski in 4th as well should have good track position. Mitchell de Jong, well, who knows where he's going to start in those consolation rounds, but Joni Heikkinen, he will advance, and he is making a strong case for a championship charge to win this season. Cheblevsky will come home in 2nd. He advances to that feature race. Diaz will advance to the consolation round, so no can do for Phil Diaz along with Zelensky. De Jong ended up in 6th at the end, so Shine, I think Randy, who took a Joker on the final lap, actually demotes Mitchell de Jong to 6th in that heat.
Yeah, and that's not good whatsoever for Mitchell after coming home P6. You can see the graphic for the post-race results there up on your screens, but now it's time for the starting grid for heat race number 2.
Yep, 6 drivers in this heat compared to the 7 for Heat 1. It includes Josh Fox, our winner from last round, Nathan Lyon, the ever-quick Nathan Lyon, qualified 3rd last round, followed by Garrett Lowe, Yorgi Zadzon, Bob King, and Cedric Gesmeyer. It's a good, strong grid here for Heat 2. And again, 5 laps of action, 1 Joker available to the drivers, and 2 will advance to the feature race. The other 4 will head to the consolation rounds. 2 Fusion Racing cars in the top 3. The Nexus Esports car is sandwiched by both of them. We go green for Heat 2. Again, good track position for Josh Fox. Lyon, bit of a tap there from Yorgi Zadzon. 4 wide. I don't think it's going to work, and it doesn't. That is Bob King around in the Volkswagen. And, of course, Randy, 4 wide at Sonoma into the first corner. I didn't even think 1 wide or 2 wide could work.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. It just started with a little bit of a tap, I think, between Georgi Zadzon and one of those outside cars. Actually, Georgi got into Nathan, who I think got into Garrett Lowe, and that sort of forced that 4 wide situation, as another tap is coming to Nathan Lyon here as well. As that, you see that white Subaru has just tucked right underneath them, side by side now between Nathan Lyon and Garrett Lowe. These guys not holding any punches here in the early going, as Josh Fox just saying, thank you very much, guys. I'll take 5 free car lengths.
Yeah, he will. Nathan Lyon, who is crew chief for his teammate Michael Guest. They're both in the Rallycross Championship as Josh Fox takes the Joker. Good take there for Josh Fox. So Nathan Lyon and his teammate have had a good, strong series here in Rallycross, and so far find themselves in a bit of trouble here in the early heats. A lot of contact. Michael Guest will be in Heat 3 later on. Lyon now, he's got so much speed. Does he have the track position? Wow, sails past Garrett Lowe, who's just rolling around like a turtle at the moment.
Yeah, he's not doing very great right now, is he? As we're riding on board with the 19 of Cedric Gesmeyer. You see that Fusion Ford Fiesta just out in front of him, and then the Nexus Esports Volkswagen just out in front as well. Gesmeyer trying to work it. We know one of the strong points of the Super. Oh, big pile up next of Nathan Lyon goes to take the Joker, and he gets punished for it. I don't think Garrett was expecting that, and Nathan Lyon goes almost up and over. Huge incident there for Nathan.
Can I actually say, it looked like Lyon was taken to the Joker, but if we look at the replay, I think he actually hit the tire bollard, and that caused suspension damage. I think Nathan Lyon's going to be out of this event because that car has too much damage. He's just retired. So looking at turn one, Randy, I think that's where the contact happened, and that's why Nathan Lyon was ridiculously slow under braking for the Joker.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we just sort of barely caught that tire bollard that probably snapped some components of that front suspension, and he probably got on the brakes maybe a little bit earlier than he normally would have, and that probably caught Garrett off guard, so not much he could really do there. Meanwhile, that puts Georgi Zadzon in P2 still. Garrett Lowe was third, but Cedric Gesmeyer just took to the Joker and took that third spot away, so it's all up to now. What can that all-white Subaru do to reel in that blue and white Volkswagen of Georgi Zadzon? Can he get there and potentially make this move?
Yep, still the penultimate lap, so there's plenty of time remaining. About 50, 60 seconds at the moment. It's a 40-second lap around here. And we already have 2 retirements in this heat, as the Lion, of course, we just saw, along with Bob King on the opening lap, who's decided to just go straight to the consolation races. There's no chance challenging for a top 2 spot in this heat. But Josh Fox, our winner from last round, begins the final lap. He's looked unstoppable lately, Randy. And again today, quick qualifying time, second fastest out of everybody out there. And he looks it looks like he's going to head towards a clean feature race at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, he looked very strong last time out, and he's looked very strong in this heat race. Pretty much no drama, which makes one of the drivers in this heat race that didn't have any drama. Maybe Georgi Zadzon, you could argue, is the second one, but he's getting ready to hit that jump for the final time here in heat race number 2.
Fox through the jump for the final time, and the Fusion Racing driver will make it through to the feature race, as we said, along with Georgi Zadzon. Brilliant event from Georgi Zadzon, and important points for him needed in that feature race. Lowe and Gesmeyer will end up in the 3rd and 4th positions. Of course, we know Lyon and King out of the event. Let's head to Heat 3 and look at the grid. The Michael Guest in first, who qualified 1/1000th of a second off the driver of Josh Fox in second. He starts this race from pole, probably beneficial for him. Connor Parisi, who's been absent for 2 rounds. The Fusion Racing driver returns here at Sonoma, along with Logan Clampett, Thomas Gerstenberg, Johan Harth, and Jorn Jens. As we know, Jorn Jens racing from the Sim Racing Expo. Logan Clampett, recent winner, of course, Randy. We'll talk about that soon in the Peak Antifreeze series. But we're ready to go for Heat 3. We go green for 5 laps of action. Carbon copy start for the top 3. Good track position for Guest. Clampett's run way too deep and hits the wall on the outside. Jorn Jens barges his way through and heads into the 4th position. Tells everybody to get out of the way. Look at the calamity in the top 2. They're 2 by 2 heading for the lead here. Who's going to end out on top into what is essentially the first corner on the racetrack? It looks like it could be Parisi. Harth has something to say for it. Johan Harth into the lead for Heat 3.
What a move from Johan. He started P5 and he comes up the first corner with the race lead. So for Johan Harth, through this quick left-hander and up towards the top of the hill, it's been an absolutely phenomenal start, but he's a little bit wide. And that Volkswagen, Connor Parisi, is tucked right underneath them. Jorn Jens seems to be running with life he's not seen before in this iRacing Rallycross Championship. Logan Clampett's tucked underneath the VRS Coanda SimSport Subaru as our race leader Johan Harth takes the Joker. Oh, Gerstenberg on his lid.
Yeah, Gerstenberg and Guest may have had contact there, because I know Guest took to the Joker. It could have had something to do with that. Oh, goodness. Gerstenberg on his roof. He's out of the event as well. Oh, chaos. Scrambling in the opening laps here. Look at the fight here between Parisi and Michael Guest. Who's going to end out on top at the end of the dirt section? They rise through the undulation. They're about to rejoin the tarmac. This is where we start the race, essentially towards the end of the lap. Ironically, Guest pushes way too wide, and that allows the driver of Logan Clampett in the SimCube iRacing car to edge his way through and head to the Joker.
Yep, he's going to take the Joker, and Jorn Jens is going to follow him, so that's going to promote Logan Clampett up a spot or two. Jorn Jens will be in hot pursuit as they head down now up towards this first sequence of corners. Johan Hart is casually out in front with about a 2-second lead, so the Race Clutch driver doing a phenomenal job this evening, really controlling this race with all the drama that's happened behind him. Sort of been given a freebie the same way Josh Fox was in heat race number 2.
Yeah, so exactly that. Jorn Jens, who, as we said, racing on a different simulator, seems to be a lot more consistent than Mitchell de Jong, but Mitchell's the ever-quick championship leader, so 2 different cases here. He's ahead of Connor Parisi, but not enough in a top 2 position to head his way into the feature race. Parisi with a Joker here, Randy. Where's he going to feed out?
Well, he's going to feed out right in front of Logan Clampett, so that's a very well-timed Joker. It's going to put him into a transfer spot. And so now Logan Clampett, coming off that race win at Indianapolis just a couple of days ago, the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series, now has to race his way in here to the feature. See Logan using as much of the racetrack as he possibly can, trying to reel in Connor Parisi, who's a very tough nut to crack here as they get ready to start their final lap.
You're right. He's a tough nut, isn't he? And he makes his return, Connor Parisi, as we said. He's been absent for 2 rounds. Oh, tire bollard in the middle of the racetrack. Kicked around by Johan Hart. Jens over the jump as well. Guest over the jump. Those 2, looks like race will be done for them. Johan Hart, though, from 5th on the grid. We've seen a lot of good starts this series, Randy, but that has to be up there this season.
Oh, it is. I mean, that's as good of a start as you could ever hope for if you're Johan Hart in that Race Clutch car. I mean, to come out with the race lead and go pretty much completely unmolested all the way through, I don't think you could ever ask for any more.
And there's a reason why Hart was 5th in the championship coming into this round. He was 2nd earlier on in the season, don't forget, for those of you who may have forgotten about the driver of Johan Hart. But here he comes through the final corner. Johan has had a thrilling final heat race today at Sonoma, and the 20-year-old will head his way through to the feature race. The Frenchman, great event from him. Parisi in 2nd. Good return for Connor Parisi. They're followed by Logan Clampett and the rest of the crew who will not make the feature race here today. They'll head to these races right now, the consolation races. Let's have a look at the grid. It'll include Phil Diaz, Logan Clampett, Cedric Gesmeyer, Julian Shine, Michael Guest, and Bob King. Michael Guest and Bob King are hungry for a clean race. 6 drivers in this first consolation race. 5 laps as usual. 2 will advance to the feature. Same format as the heat races. Lights illuminate, engines rev. We go green for the first consolation race. Phil Diaz and Clampett alongside each other for the lead. Good, clean racing from the both of them. Julian Shine now in 3rd as track position ahead of Cedric Gesmeyer. Oh, and there's a bit of contact over the jump as well, but nothing that... Oh, it does cause some chaos. Guest and Shine with contact. It infuriates Guest and Julian Shine. Too much contact at the moment, Randy, and that's just going to dash their hopes for a spot in the feature race.
Yeah, and definitely not good whatsoever. I think that's Bob King we have up the hill going through the carousel section of the racetrack, so it's not gone well for him either. But out in front fighting for transfer spots is going to be Logan Clampett, who gets his way into the race lead. Phil Diaz sorts into the 2nd transfer spot in P2, but Cedric Gesmeyer very, very close to that SimCube NX car as they head to the end of the first lap. Let's see who jokers here. It's going to be Logan and Cedric who joker here on this opening lap. Diaz is going to stay out.
And that was a great joker by Gesmeyer. By the way, I've never seen Bob King. I've never seen a car up there, ironically, out at this circuit on the inside. It's so high up. There's so much elevation change. One of the best rallycross circuits out there in iRacing right now in Sonoma. And it's just such a beautiful layout. Clampett in the lead, unscathed at the moment in that number 44 NX racing car. Sponsored by JDR Graphics, of course, as you can see. Gesmeyer in 2nd. Phil Diaz, though, has yet to take to the Joker. Will he go for it this time around on lap 2 of 5? Yes, he does. And he ends out just in front of Gesmeyer, Randy. Good Joker lap from Phil Diaz. Now he has to maintain it on pace alone.
Well, he's going to get a little bit of free time given to him as Cedric a little bit wide as he heads up the hill, and he's actually going to try to assault that 44 of Logan Clampett. A little bit of contact between the two of them. I don't think Logan realized that he was out there, and that's going to shove Phil Diaz into the hands of Cedric Gesmeyer. Cedric, does he show the nose up the hill? No, he's not going to get close enough. Still pushing a little bit wide is Cedric, so given a good opportunity there is Cedric, but did he give away that advantage, pushing that little bit wide here near the end of the lap? It's going to be tough to tell. But you know, Phil Diaz, I do not think he's going to be happy with that little contact moment he just had with Logan. I think if Phil gets the chance to show the nose, he's going to do it.
Yeah, and you have to remember as well, these are two teammates in Phil Diaz and
well,
Logan
not anymore.
Clampett.
Logan just left that
anymore,
team.
Yeah. You're right. So Clampett, who was a former member of NX Racing, are they any lost love between the two? We're going to find out anyway in this event. Cedric Gesmeyer, though, is a privateer. He's still searching for a team. All season, really, he's been a privateer. He's a Frenchman. Maybe the likes of Race Clutch having a look at him. Who knows? He's a good talent, Cedric. Bob King in 4th, Shine in 5th, Guest in 6th. Good to see all runners still in this event. Guest goes for the Joker lap at the moment. And he and Julian Shine were in a battle earlier on. They're going to be alongside each other and you get to turn one here.
Cedric's around. And he's climbing the Mount Bob King.
So, and there's Bob King ironically behind. So Cedric now in the 3rd position, should not advance to the feature. Look at the top 2 as well. Look at the top 2. Clampett and Diaz. Final lap of the event. They should make it through. I hope they know that. If they collect each other, it's going to be useless basically. Heading through the final corner and a brilliant event. Clampett and Diaz through to the feature, Randy. Rest of the drivers out of round 8 of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series. Yeah,
unfortunate for those, but I think we just saw the sparks of the initial drama of what we might see in that feature event if Logan and Phil end up getting close to one another. As you see our post-race results here up there on screen, that could get a little bit crazy from the two ex-teammates because that's still a pretty recent wound that just got opened.
Yeah, exactly. The second consolation race. This is actually the final consolation race. And that will include Garrett Lowe, our feature race winner this season. Don't forget, Garrett Lowe in that incredible final lap. Bobby Zielinski in 2nd. We know how much pace Bobby Zielinski has along with Jorn Jens, Nathan Lyon, Mitchell de Jong, our championship leader, Thomas Gerstenberg, Tony Reprasad. It is absolutely horrifying to know that 5 drivers will be eliminated after this event. We have so much talent out there in this consolation race. Ready to go for 5 laps of action. We go green for the final consolation race. Whoa, look at Jorn Jens around the outside trying to claim the lead. Thrilling on the brakes is Jorn Jens. That left foot is a left foot of God as Garrett Lowe now will end up leading the event. Where's Mitchell de Jong at the end of all this? Oh, he's in last place.
Did not get the run up and over the jump that you would hope for as Jorn Jens is still fighting for the race lead. 3 wide with Bobby Zielinski and Nathan Lyon as they go up the hill.
Oh, and contact. Nathan Lyon's hit a tire bollard. Oh, it's Mitchell.
I think Mitchell's pulled it.
Oh, there's something wrong.
He's not
Something's
on track
happened
anymore.
to Mitchell de Jong. He's out of the event. Mitchell's out. There is no coming back for Mitchell de Jong, I don't think. No, he is. He's back. Oh, my God. My heart's racing right now, Randy. I don't know what to think. Mitchell, his season could have been unraveled.
Nathan Lyon again taking the Joker lap. Same exact issue he had in his heat race. I think he was going for the Joker and got drilled up the rear.
And he's done something I've never seen, driving backwards to take the Joker. That should be allowed, essentially, after the spin. And Lyon,
yeah, I think he's good.
I think he'll be good with that. No penalties. Look at de Jong, though, racing, trying to make his way past Gerstenberg. Shoves him out of the way. Mitchell de Jong into 5th.
Yeah, so Mitchell's doing his best to move his way up forward. And talking about that incident that we just saw with Nathan Lyon, Johnny, I have to say, you know, that's 2 times I think Nathan's made the same mistake. He just broke for the Joker right in the center of the racing line. And, you know, coming to the end of lap 1, you got 3 or 4 cars right behind you. I don't think you can ever expect to break on the optimal line and not expect to get hit. I think that second one is 100% on Nathan.
100%, and it's a difficult situation as well. We've spoken about it all season, Randy. Some of the Joker laps here are extremely difficult under braking. Some are difficult just traveling through, but this is one at Sonoma. You just have to manage if you're the driver ahead. Take it while there's track space ahead and not go for it early where you could cause chaos like we saw earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay to go for it early, but you have so much space on the right-hand side, you just need to pull off line a little bit when you go and take it. And both times, he's just been in the center of the racing line, and it's just so hard to rationalize, in my opinion. We have 2 to go. Bobby Zalenski very close to Garrett Lowe. I don't think these 2 are going to get aggressive whatsoever. Jorn Jens, I think, is already jokered as well. Actually, no, he's not, as the 2 teammates are going to collect each other. Jorn and Mitchell, just as I was talking about, Jorn might have a shot. He's going to get sent by his teammate here as he goes up the hill, as Mitchell's technical issues continue.
Mitchell took to the Joker, I believe, and then he was trying to sail up the inside. I reckon Mitchell got him way too hot, and Jorn's also turned in a bit too early. There's a bit to blame on both of them there. And both of them are actually racing right alongside each other. They're about 1 meters apart. If they need to throw fists, they could do exactly that physically, which
he's talking in real life, not in the sim.
Yeah, I don't condone throwing fists, by the way. And yeah, Jorn Jens goes for the Joker lap. Garrett Lowe and Bobby Zalenski, though, we haven't spoken about them, Randy. Final lap, and they look like they're going to head to the feature race.
Yeah, it's Garrett Lowe and Bobby Zalenski. They've done a fantastic job out there. They've avoided all the drama, which is what this race has brought us. And man, oh man, these 2, I think, are going to be very happy just to have been ahead of it all. And especially, you talk about that driver in second place. Bobby's generally in the center of all the drama.
Oh, goodness. Well, we had the pace, and something went wrong in qualifying for Bobby, which we'll hopefully speak about later with him, because he had the pace today to make the feature. He's done it the hard way. Lowe and Zalenski through to the feature race. Repisard, Gerstenberg, Lyon, Jorn Jens, and Mitchell de Jong all eliminated. The point situation for Mitchell de Jong now, 10th place in the feature race gives you 43 points. Mitchell de Jong, I haven't calculated this correctly, but will probably only earn about 10 points at the moment, Randy, compared to a 53 he could have earned heading to the feature race. That is dramatic for the championship. He only entered this round right now with a 47 points lead. Joni Heikkinen could snatch that here today.
I think he's going to. We're looking at the championship standings right now. I mean, coming in, Mitchell had 525 points. Joni Heikkinen had 478, so within 50 points. And Yoni's got a very, very good starting position here tonight in the feature, starting on pole. I think as long as Joni comes away with a solid podium position, he's pretty much guaranteed to have the points lead. You know, somewhat unfortunate for Mitchell, of course, being on a completely different continent in Europe. He would have just recently landed because he took off, I think, from LAX sometime yesterday, so he's probably not been in Germany for very long, probably jet lag, but still, regardless, not performing the way he needs to, and that's going to really hurt him going into these final rounds of the championship, because this is the sort of race, Johnny, that he could have potentially put a stamp on this whole championship tonight if he had a good result.
Exactly. It's, well, not the round he needed. He cannot take this round. Well, he could take it as a drop round. Who knows? But it's certainly one he'd want to save.
Is this the first feature he's missed all year?
I think so. I'm just trying to check that at the moment. We're going to have a look at our statistics board and get the guys behind the scenes to help us out with that. But Mitchell...
The guys behind the scene at Race Spot are us.
Yeah, so quiet. So yeah, that's it. So he's made it each feature race as your statistician men, Jonathan Simon and Randolph check. And this will mean this will have to be his drop round, right? I mean, he had 9th place at Sonoma last time out, remember? We spoke about that.
Yeah.
And that's still a good haul of points. It's about 47 points there. So, oh man, it's just heartbreak for him. Look at the championship standing soon, but just never good.
Yeah, it's going to be really rough for him, as we need to stop looking at that, and we need to quit looking at the future and start looking at the present, because as the counter counts down to 0, Johnny, it's starting grid time for a feature event.
Yeah, and the feature event, as we know, will include potential championship leader, depending on how this race goes, of Joni Heikkinen starting on the inside line alongside the driver of Josh Fox. Johan Haas will be on the outside of the front row. They'll be followed by Stelian Chaplevsky in the Fusion racing car. Georgi Zadzon, Connor Parisi, who makes his return to the series after a 2-round absence. Logan Clampett with his new team here in Rallycross. Phil Diaz, Garrett Lowe, and Bobby Zalenski will round out your 10-car field for the feature race. 10 laps of action, 1 joker available to the drivers, and they will scramble their way through the first couple of corners. Lights will illuminate. Engines rev for the final time for round 8. We go green from Sonoma. Heikkinen track position again. Fox boxes Hearth around the outside line, and that means Heikkinen and Fox will battle their way for the front and for the lead here for the final time at Sonoma. Heikkinen in the lead, Fox in second. Looks like a pretty clean start, and it's someone into the wall, and it causes chaos behind as well, Randy. And those are the drivers of Garrett Lowe and Connor Parisi, who could be out of the event with terminal damage.
So teammates involved here. We're going to get a replay here to see what happened through this first corner. We're watching that Volkswagen, that Vision Racing Volkswagen, and Connor Parisi heads up. It's Johan Hart who just has an awkward landing coming off the jump. Connor, really just an innocent bystander, and Garrett Lowe, the unlucky one that collects him as we're approaching the end of lap 1, and the race lead is stretched out in favor of Heikkinen.
Heikkinen driving to perfection at the moment. The Finn has looked ever quick. He takes to the Joker. Good strategy there by Joni Heikkinen. He's elected for early Jokers here and there. Cheplevsky doesn't do that. Johan Hart also takes to the Joker. So in your top 5, actually no, I might be wrong with that. Excuse me. Johan Hart did not take to the Joker. I think top 2 are the only ones who Jokered. Yeah, well, top 3 actually, correction.
Yeah,
so
Phil.
Cheplevsky and Hart haven't. And look at this battle right now. Clampett screams his way past Johan Hart to the middle part of the lap.
Yeah, Logan's been doing that. He's been running that grass line, and he gets a little bit of a shot from Johan Hart as they head up the hill, and he gives him the fender again. They both go into the hairpin, way off into the runoff. So I think Johan, not happy that Logan's running that super wide line. We've been seeing him doing that. We seem to see how the stewards react and if there's anything about that post-race, but I do not think Johan was particularly happy about that, and I think he gave him pretty much a disapproving shot here as Johan has opted to Joker and is now right on the rear bumper of Stilian Cheplevsky.
And one thing that's spoken about in this series, Randy, is that the stewards are lenient, but you have to consider driver respect. The more dirty moves you pull off, that's the respect and reputation you build amongst your peers.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing. I mean, it's sort of self-enforcing almost, much the way it is in a lot of real life motorsports. It's not just what do the stewards have to say about it, but what are your opponents going to do? Because especially in a series that allows some contact and some bumping and rubbing, it's really not that difficult to give someone a fender and make it look like an accident.
Exactly that. Heading through, look at Hearth as well, now battling with Cheplevsky. Contact between the two as well. Hearth's an angry dude at the moment, and Cheplevsky shoved out of the way. The ever flamboyant Stelian Cheplevsky, who has also had a good campaign in the Rallycross World Championship Series. He's someone, Randy, I think if I had to tip a new race winner, we could be looking at Cheplevsky sometime soon in these final few rounds if he gets things together.
He's just been struggling. It's not even been struggling. He's had pace, about half the races or so this season, maybe 3/4, but he's just not had the luck when it's important as he takes to the Joker and shuffles out behind Logan Clampett as he goes screaming up the hill. And that's really been the problem for Stilian, is that when he's had the speed, he's not had the fortune, and when he's had a little bit of fortune, he's just not had the speed.
So looking at the championship situation, Joni Heikkinen at the moment will take the championship lead after this round. If all things stay as they is at the moment, Heikkinen leads this event. There's still plenty of time remaining though. We're only halfway through the event. Fox in second will have third place in the championship also his own. He was 1 point ahead of his teammate Cheplevsky, who was in the 4th position. Phil Diaz in third. Good stuff from him. Clampett in 4th at the moment. Cheplevsky, we just mentioned, he's in 5th. The rest of the field, it includes Hart, Zelensky, Zadzon, Lowe, and Parisi is out of the event after contact with Garrett Lowe on the opening lap. So far, Randy, the field looks to have spread out. It looks to have quieted down. But Clampett at the moment, he looks erratic through the dirt section, but it seems to be working out for him.
Yeah, he's been a little bit erratic. Closest battle is, of course, Cheplevsky and Johan Hart, which is what we're looking at on our cameras. Everything else is separated out to about 2 seconds or so, if not more, as these two are going to go through this kind of final corner and then up and over the jump. And that race clutch car is just trying to stay close to that Vision Racing machine of Stilian Cheplevsky as they're about to head up the hill for the 7th time.
Oh, shoves Cheplevsky out of the way. Hearth, no respect for Stelian up ahead, and Hearth barges his way through. The race clutch driver now in the 5th position. Cheplevsky has a bit of a bit of track position ahead of Bobby Zelensky, but just Randy, I mean, we speak about that right there. Just, the driving standards today haven't been the best, of course.
Yeah, it's been just a couple drivers, and we're going to look at this other fight that's happening deeper in the field between Georgi Zadzon and Bobby Zelensky as they get ready to come to lap number 8 of 10 for them. It's just been, Johan's just, I think that's the third driver who's really made contact now. The couple of them have been very questionable. The only other big incidents we've had have either been awkward moments up and over the jump or people, not positioning themselves well going through the Joker. I think the driving standards overall have been okay, but been a couple people in this feature, I think Johan especially, that haven't really been the cleanest, as Georgi's going to snatch that spot away from Bobby.
Too easy there. And Zadzon now through what is really the first corner of the racetrack, but isn't really as well. Look at the battle up ahead, though. Cheplevsky and Johan Hart. Cheplevsky now back ahead of the Frenchman, and they're still alongside each other here heading into the first corner. Lap 9 of 10. Hart going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving by Johan Hart. Cheplevsky now another switchback. We're doing S2S snake driving at the moment, and Cheplevsky in the 5th position.
That was very well executed by both of them, I have to say, but unfortunately this aggression has reeled in Georgi Zadzon and Bobby Zelensky, so while these two were like, okay, we'll fight it out for 7th and 8th, now suddenly they're potentially looking at a top 5 if these two don't stop pulling punches, or excuse me, if they don't start pulling punches, as Joni Heikkinen starts his final lap. Matter of fact, Zelensky takes to the Joker. He can jump 3 cars right here.
Smart by Bobby Zelensky. Important points, and he should have a top 5 finish, but all eyes are on Joni Heikkinen. We'll keep one eye on the battle behind. There's only so many eyes you have, of course, but Joni Heikkinen through the final couple of corners. He will match Mitchell de Jong's 3 race wins with victory here in the feature race. And Joni Heikkinen has driven splendidly all event. He's been unstoppable at Sonoma, and he wins round 8 of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series. Josh Fox joins him on the podium in second, along with Phil Diaz. We're still racing here with Cheplevsky and Hart. Side-by-side battle at the final corner over the jump as well. This is a battle for the 6th position. Good move there by Cheplevsky. We'll have a look at that in detail later on. Brilliant event, Randy, from those two. All eyes first on Joni Heikkinen, though. He's driven splendidly.
Yeah, we wanted to catch that finish, of course, that it happened, but for Joni Heikkinen, this is potentially a monumental race for him, for his main championship rival to be missing out on the feature and for him to win it. That's going to be a huge points haul for that finish driver of Joni Heikkinen in number 3. Unfortunately, he'll only have about 3 words to say about it when we do his interview, but he put on a fantastic show worth hundreds, if not thousands of words for sure.
Yeah, well, no. I know what you're saying there. The event's over. Brilliant event towards the end of the event. We'll speak to Joni Heikkinen soon enough. What an event from him. He wins the feature race. The results up on screen at the moment, and Joni Heikkinen, of course, as we said, in just under 7 minutes there. Quick victory for him. Fox as well. He's been so quick this season. Josh Fox in the Fusion Racing car. He's followed by Phil Diaz in 3rd. Logan Clampett ends up in 4th. In the top 5 in the end, actually, was Georgi Zadzon ahead of Bobby Zelensky. So the timing screen was just erratic towards the final lap because there were so many position changes. Zelensky in 6th, Cheplevsky in 7th, followed by Hearth and Garrett Lowe. Connor Parisi with a DNF. Good event, though, from Connor Parisi. Nevertheless, he had some good pace here today in his return to the series after a 2-round absence. So there you go as well. We'll speak to the drivers in just a short moment's time. Joni Heikkinen, first of all, Randy. But one thing I have to say is that final lap battle, the driving standards just today were, by some drivers you said weren't good. Other drivers, it was thrilling racing.
Yeah, it was, and that's what you get. We're going to ride on board this final lap with Stilian Cheplevsky just to sort of see what we're talking about. As you see, he's tucked up on the rear of Bobby Zelensky here. And I'm sure you're going to see Johan Hart come into frame eventually as well. But it's just been, when the standards are aggressive, you're going to get some awesome racing. Oh, we actually see what happened. Bobby actually made a mistake, and Stilian got sent around. This we missed, and actually both Stilian and Johan got sent way off the racetrack. This I didn't even realize this has happened. I thought this was just an ongoing battle. But you watch the way Stilian shows the nose, not only the penultimate corner, but at the final one. I think that's just a good aggressive move, at least at that final corner by Stilian, because that's, it's one of those things that, it was a dive bomb move, but a lot of people don't know how to throw a dive bomb correctly, and that's exactly what Stilian did.
Yeah, so brilliant driving there from Cheplevsky. I liked it though. That final battle with the S and the snaking and everything was incredible. But first of all, though, we will speak to our race winner, Joni Heikkinen, who drove absolutely splendidly, as we said. And Joni, if you're there, I have to say, first of all, congratulations. You're championship leader now heading out of this round at Sonoma. Is that what you expected coming into this round, that you were going to walk away with the championship lead?
Can you hear him?
No, I can't. Joni, you might have issues with the microphone. Can't hear anything.
You heard me now?
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, thanks. I think I have been leading championship already after round 3 if we count drop week. So, but yeah, this went pretty well.
Yeah, with the drop rounds, of course, as well, like you said. And but one thing I have to say is Sonoma, you qualified on top. You had all the pace. We know Mitchell's at the Sim Racing Expo as well, but I mean, regardless of that, it wasn't just him out there today. You know, he had Josh Fox to battle with, lots of other drivers who are looking quick. Is it just Mitchell you've been focusing on, or do you have to keep out the likes of Josh Fox and all these other competitors out of the way as well?
Josh is fast, but he is Mitchell is only one who gonna win championship if I don't win, so I don't really care about them so much.
And finally, who do you want to thank as well? We know you race for Sim Gear, and anybody else you want to thank as well along with those?
Well, I just want to say thanks to iRacing. Last week I got a chance to try real Rallycross car, and I think I was pretty good pace already on first lap, and it was possible only because iRacing and Rallycross there, so hope I can find enough money to drive real car next season.
There you go, Joni Heikkinen. Something to speak about, Randy, is that Joni Heikkinen as well, proving his worth in the real world.
Yeah, it's always great to see people kind of move up and get that opportunity in real life. But we're gonna bring it home now to the second position. Josh Fox, you won last time out. This time you come home with P2 on the podium. Joni seemed pretty much unstoppable today. I think you have to be pretty happy with second best.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good run, and it's almost an exact replay of what happened when we were here the first time this season. I hate to see Joni just drive away, but he's so good at the worn tracks, and I think we all got to figure a little bit out from him. But yeah, good run. Happy to back up the win last week with another podium.
Now, we've had, of course, a couple new tracks come to the addition of the sim at Atlanta, a short layout and a long layout, somewhat similar to what we have at Daytona. Have you gotten a chance to try them? What do you think of them?
Yeah, I have. I've driven both of the layouts, the long and the short. The short I find a little more interesting because it keeps your attention. Very quick corners, very quick lap. There's a lot going on. But I think they're both a ton of fun, and I can't wait to go racing on them. I think they'll be awesome for racing.
Well, thanks for joining us, Josh. Congratulations on the second place finish. You've definitely sprung a lot of momentum here in this later part of the championship. Before we let you go, who gets it done for that whole group at Fusion Racing?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I got to thank everybody over there. So many names, all good guys over there. We have a really great group. I got to thank you guys for the broadcast, and really importantly, I miss this every time, but thanks a ton for everyone who tunes in and follows the series. I realized last week there's a lot of people that pay attention to this stuff, and I think this is some of the best entertainment and racing iRacing has going for it. So I really appreciate everyone out there paying attention, following the series, and thanks to iRacing too. This is a really great battle.
Well, there he is, second place finisher tonight, Josh Fox. Pretty happy with his results tonight. Joni, last interviewee of the evening. Someone who had a very, very interesting battle. The next teammate of his you stood by with Semi Cabinet's racing driver, Phil Diaz.
Yeah, Phil Diaz, who had a thrilling event. I have to say, Phil, first of all, can you talk about your event? You qualified in the mid-pack. You somehow found your way through to the feature, and you shuffled your way through the order. I don't want to say it's a come-out-of-nowhere podium, but it sort of was in the end, if you have to say.
It certainly worked out that way. I seem to be strong in once the track wears down, but I'm not too good when the dirt's all sitting up on top of the asphalt and everything, and everything's real slick. I don't know why. I'm just not that good in that situation, so I didn't qualify too well. In the heat, I mean, I was right on Stellion's bumper for a transfer spot, but yeah, I didn't get it, and got through the B main the consolation race with Clamp. And feature was interesting. Everybody didn't take the Joker because they didn't want to get rear-ended. I took the Joker and just so happened nailed 2 good laps. And by the time they were able to take the Joker, they were behind me. So I got real lucky with that.
Not only that, but you've had 2 podiums in this series in the feature race, and both of the 3rd places have come at Sonoma. This is a beauty of a track for you right now. You're going to be racing at Sonoma for the rest of the season.
It's actually better than that. If you look back, Yanni won the race at Sonoma, and Josh finished 2nd. So this is the exact same podium as the previous time around at Sonoma. So I'll take that all day. I'm super happy with it, actually. I mean, those 2 were checked out. There was no way. I mean, the front row gets such a good start and such a good gap to everybody. So it was just surviving and hoping you can kind of beat everybody's Joker logic, basically.
And by the way, normally we'll keep it at 2 questions, but I have to ask this. The battle between yourself and Logan earlier on in I think it was the consolation races, maybe, in the C main. Any love lost between you 2?
No, not at all. It's there. We don't have any ill feelings. It was a perfectly fine situation. We're not holding a knife to each other's throats or anything. Now, we were racing pretty hard, and I think it was Cedric that was right on our bumpers. And I was trying to get past him because I felt I was faster. And then Cedric made a mistake, and I just rode on Logan's bumper after that. I was like, all right, man, I'm not going to bother you. I just want to finish this, get into the feature.
Yeah, there you go. Who gets it done for you at NX Racing?
Well, yeah, SimCube, NX, Granite Devices, SimLab, and V Racing. And I actually had some guys just giving me some confidence this race, Nolan and Simon and such. And, good. They all, help out and everything, and just trying to give me some good points here to get in the top 10 and stay in the series. And, I've heard Josh thanking you guys, and I want to do the same thing. Thank you guys you guys do basically all the top series and everything. You guys do a stellar job at it. And I hope the viewers enjoy it because it's a lot of fun to race. So I hope the viewers enjoy what you guys do for them and everything, and showing what we do as well.
Certainly one of the best series out there. Well said, Phil Diaz, who came home in the 3rd position. This, Randy, before we wrap up here, has been one of my favorite series in iRacing history. And again today, thrilling racing. I always enjoy this.
Yeah, it's been absolutely phenomenal. I've been saying it since the series got announced, and with the sort of talent pool, that is going to be a fantastic melting pot of iRacing talent, just because you have, the typical road course groups with Mitchell and, Heikkinen, I know, has mixed it up on the road courses. You've got a handful of roundy rounders and the likes of Logan Clampett and Garrett Lowe and Nathan Lyon. Michael Guest, and we've sort of seen that these 2 sort of there's been attempts to have them run well together in the past with the Pro Race of Champions, and it's just never really gone to plan with any of those events in the past. But this series, I think, has really shown what can happen when you can mix those 2 groups together, and it's put on an absolutely fantastic show.
There you go, and we will wrap up our show here today from Sonoma. And it's been a thrilling event so far. The next event will be on the 4th of October. That's 3 weeks until we head to Iowa Speedway, which hosts round 9 of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series. Coverage, of course, will begin at 1 a.m. GMT. That's 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That, of course, will be on RaceSpot TV, streaming live on the iRacing Esports Network. Thanks to all our lovely viewers. Josh Fox said it. Phil Diaz said it. I'm saying it too. You've been thrilling for today's broadcast. I'm Jonathan Simon alongside Randolph Cheneth on double duty with broadcasting and comms. Thanks to Istvan Bello, Andreas Werner, Simon Grossman, and Nick Thiessen for all their work behind the scenes in this RaceSpot TV presentation broadcasted on the iRacing Esports Network. We say so long from Sonoma.